Okay, folks. Welcome, everybody. Call this special open council meeting of today, April 28th to order. Like to remind folks that there's a audio video feed being broadcast and recorded via Zoom and is available on the Town of Golden YouTube page. We have councilors Dale and Hambrook attending virtually, and we have the rest of the council around the table, and we have senior staff around the table. So I'd like to begin by acknowledging the land in which we gather is the shared ancestral territory of the Tenahum and Secwepemc people. Golden is also home to the Métis Nation, Columbia River Society, and other diverse Indigenous heritage. We're grateful to have the opportunity to live and work in this territory. Ms. Seville, are there any late items?
There are no late items today.
Perfect. Then we'll move on to item 3, which is the adoption of the meeting agenda as presented. Councilor Routley moving that. Looking for a seconder. Councilor Guio seconding that. Council, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. There's no delegations presentation. There's no reports, committee reports from committee. We move right on to reports from staff under Corporate Services and Communications Department. We have a memo with regards to the budget and what we heard. Just going to bring that up and Ms. Seville, you're speaking to this item?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Ozust. So every year, the Town of Golden releases its annual budget book describing how the town will use tax dollars and other funding sources to deliver programs, services, and infrastructure needs to the community of Golden. In preparing the document, council and staff consider the needs and expectations of the community and corporation against current corporate strategic priorities. As part of this process, council must also consult the public before the plan is adopted. This year, as part of the public engagement process, we again included an online survey as part of that. For 2026, we amended the budget survey to reduce the number of questions from 21 down to 12 in an effort to encourage more responses. The online survey was available from April 8th to 21st and received 52 responses. This is up from 42 responses in 2025. But still down from the years prior in 23 and 24. Members of the public were also invited to attend one council meeting in person or virtually. No one spoke to the budget at that council meeting, and no items of written correspondence were received as part of the process either. So just in terms of we used all of our communications channels, which I've outlined within the report. And then in terms of what we heard, it was the themes were very consistent with the themes we've seen in previous online surveys and budget feedback processes. So it still reinforces ongoing concerns around aging infrastructure, affordability, cost of living, tax increases, and long-term planning for growth. Respondents continue to understand the importance of roads and water and sewer infrastructure projects, as well as maintaining current infrastructure, emphasizing the importance of focusing on core and essential services. Our demographics kind of remain consistent over the last few years, as well as our top 5 services that residents feel should be council's top priorities. So again, that aligns with what we've seen in previous years with water, sewer, roads, fire protection, and parks, playgrounds, and green spaces, rounding out the top 5 there. The importance of services, again, aligns with those core services, with water, sewer, roads, fire protection, snow removal, and garbage and recycling ranking as the most important services overall. When asked to choose to invest more, less, or the same in programs and services, the majority of programs and services fell into the invest the same category, except for water and sewer, where over 60% of respondents, up from 50% in 2025, chose to invest more. And so that's kind of a high-level overview of what we heard through the online survey. Attached is the full survey results, including verbatim comments, as well as an appendix where we pulled out the Area A responses and included that as an appendix for interest.
Thank you for that. So this is an opportunity for council to discuss the information that they've heard from the public. I find it great that almost 30% of the respondents lived in Area A. I think there's value to that, and that it speaks to one community and everybody sees it that way. Although there may not have direct impact or actually pay taxes for the services that are provided by the municipality, they still care about what goes on in the community. So that's valuable. So council, any thoughts, comments on the information you've seen? Okay, we'll start Council Manuel.
Just one comment. There are other things to look at, of course, but there seems to be a significant number of people who don't understand or don't know about the chlorine in the new well. The fact that it's minimal, that it meets the healthcare standards, and that if it's used as a standard, as I understand it, it will be largely diffused in the general water flow. So, but it is, a lot of people care a lot about this. So I think maybe if we could renew our message.
Thank you for that. Council, any other comments? And again, this is discussion prior to third reading, which will happen later in this meeting. Is that correct?
Correct. It'll propose second and third reading of both the financial plan bylaw and tax rate bylaw will come later in the meeting.
Okay, thank you. Council Guil?
I was just surprised that considering the Dogtooth fire wasn't that long ago, that fire wasn't higher on the radar. But other than that, I'm glad to see that infrastructure and like water and sewer is. And I think that the message has gotten across that that's why these, increases are happening. So that's good.
Thank you. Councillor Cooper.
I'll just wait returns. Yeah. Can you please, I know we don't have Mr. Cochran here, the water metering costs. We've gone over it before in council. I just thought it'd be good to share again. What would we expect a water metering program to cost to install? Because it was commented that this would be a savings for us in town if we went to such a system, but I believe that we've heard before that it's very expensive to install. So do we have any information on it could be provided to the public on that?
And I'll look to Mr. Denegar and recognize that we had a report that was done, I want to say, within the last 3 years that identified those costs and the
so no numbers off the top of my head. I don't want to make those up, but yeah, we could pull up that information, provide it to council to disseminate if you've got questions directly, or we could point public to where that information's on our website. But yeah, even if we had subsidized rollouts for that, the ongoing operations and then eventual replacement costs for a community our size are likely to outweigh any cost savings that we would get from it. It would be an exercise in purely trying to manage water use, but it wouldn't be a cost savings in any way, shape, or form. And there's, of course, also added liability for us. If we were to put meters inside houses, there's that weird gray area of whose is it then and whose responsibility. So the alternative is to put in pit meters at the property line, which skyrockets the price.
Thank you. Another one was comment that those taxes have been raised 7%. And I believe when we look, taxes were not raised 7%. They were 4.5% in the budget book. Is that correct?
Ms. Brown,
when I'm
are you
looking.
able to speak to that?
Oh, because when we looked at
I
them,
will check in the budget book, but I do believe it was at the 7% mark.
okay, because I was trying to figure out when I looked at the municipal general, it looks like 4.513. So that's why I was just wondering. The tax ratio then is 4.5.
Just
Okay,
pulling it
yeah.
up now.
So just pulling up the information right now. Okay, thank you.
I'm not sure that we wrote it directly in the budget book, but I do know that it was part of the release. And it does say in the release that the budget increase includes a 10% revenue increase and an estimated average property tax increase of 7% for 26.
So then when I look at Schedule A, it says, can I just pass this to you? I don't understand.
So in reviewing Schedule A as part of bylaw number 1514, 2026, this would be the rate. And so this is the 4.5 is the rate being paid. So 4.5 is 7% more than last year's rate.
Thank you. That's what I want to clarify. Thank you.
Any, no further follow-up?
No.
Okay, Councillor Routley?
Thank you, Mayor. And thanks to staff for the work into the report, as well as, you know, trying to make it as simple as possible for folks to engage. 21 questions is quite a bit, and 12 certainly is a simpler process. Can we speak to kind of strategies or what we're hoping to see changed in the future for in order to encourage greater engagement? Again, like if we're looking at sorry, the number is off the edge here, but you know, if it, I guess there's a few layers to this. Like first, with the demographics that we're seeing engaged with the budget, is it sort of aligned or correlated with the demographics of our audience online, where we see like 89% or whatever it was of the engagement was encouraged via social media? And then, so is there opportunities then to ensure that the 18 to 24, or I'd even be so bold as to say the under 18 crowd, since they're a bit more captive in school, but certainly have just as much say in some of the services that we see and are potentially going to be sticking around in the community. Yeah, I guess just broadly, we speak to our staff able to speak to what we might be able to do differently in the next years to ensure that we're not getting 37, that we're able to far surpass the 60 resident goal. Maybe even like 2% of the population could engage.
That's actually quite easy. A 17 or 20% tax increase gets everybody's attention. You want to go down that path?
Other than that,
Not sure I would recommend that path. I would say that in the future, we're reviewing the budget process this year, and one of the things that will be instrumental in the coming year will be to get the budget survey out sooner and for longer. And so there's many different options that we can do in terms of engagement. Some of them could include pre-budget engagement with the general public. And so speaking to what they might want to see in advance of council having to make preliminary decisions. As well as in the past, we have done engagement sessions in person. And so perhaps changing to some of those formats as well, and considering alternatives may be engaged. I think one of the parts of this particular survey was the stricter timeline that we had and the number of responses we could get within that time frame. And so that should certainly help in the future with getting more engagement. Although I think it is a struggle that every municipality faces, that unless it's 20% or zero, it may be lesser engagement and status quo. Certainly it would be great to hear from more residents about the budget.
And another perspective is you're not doing anything wrong. You don't hear from people. Just saying possibly. Any follow-up?
I just see that Director Seville has as well.
Ms. Seville?
Yeah, just to speak to the demographics, I just pulled up the 2025 annual social media metrics from last year, and it definitely mirrors the demographics that we're seeing in our audiences from the budget survey. So this is our audiences on social media, where you can see that clearly we have a larger audience in that 35 to 44 age range. And that's kind of where we're seeing a lot of the engagement on our online survey right now. And a lot of that has to do with timing parameters and where we have time to advertise and promote the survey. I would also say, just to echo, the CFO's comments on other municipalities having this issue. I do have like a monthly check-in with communications folks from across the CSRD, and they're all experiencing the lowest engagement rates as part of some of their budget processes and that sort of thing. So I think it's a tougher one.
Thank you. I'll go to Councillor Dale or Councillor Hambrook. Any comments with regards to the information presented, what we heard?
Nothing from myself.
Okay,
No-
Councillor.
Nothing from me, Your Worship.
Okay. Councillor, or actually, I'll go myself, then I'll get Councillor Manuel. I would echo Councillor Guillo's comment. It was actually great to see water, sewer, and roads. Core services that highlighted as the top on the list. Snow removal was, I think, was fourth as far as importance. And I think that's great. And it just, hopefully the comments are along the lines of maintaining the high level of snow removal that we have. And it's good to hear that garbage and recycling is important to people. That is a big ticket item for all of us ratepayers across the whole community, across the whole Columbia-Shuswap Regional District. And there are some opportunities there. So yeah, it was good information. Unfortunately, we weren't able to engage more people. We've tried food, we've tried. The only thing we haven't tried is the shock factor, and we don't want to go down that path. Councillor, comment or?
I just want to say, I think the reason why we might not have had so much engagement is because we've had a lot of engagement through the DCCs and through the OCP and then the budget. And, you know, the infrastructure is in front of mind of everybody in this town. And so I think they totally they get it. They get what we had to do. And so I think that's why the actual, you know, engagement is down, because they've engaged in other ways. Because since the budget has been out, nobody's stopped me and talked to me about it like they have in previous years. And I think this was an expectation.
Thank you for that, Councillor Manuel.
Couple of comments. I know there's questions about the pool and still the aquatic center and such. Unfortunately, you know, we have set out there's going to be a report with all of these things. They looked at all the options, but not everyone pays attention to everything, obviously. I was pleased to see that the green space is moving quite a bit higher than in the past. People appreciate green space. And lastly, there's substantial negative stuff about corporate services, town hall staffing, and to my mind, but it doesn't go on to outside services, I think, because they're highly visible. They're the guys that clean your roads and all that. I saw no evidence of that the people were saying this out of any kind of evidence, but I think they see costs going up. So the services where they don't see particularly what they do and how they do it and all that get the brood of the, naysaying. But it's still a bit frustrating.
Thank you for that. And kind of to that point, I think back to some of the discussions council has had with senior staff with regards to how much of the staff time administratively is on statutory responsibilities. I mean, it's all consuming our staff, our work to the end of their stick type of thing. There's not a lot more we can add to their plates. It's just a challenging situation for sure. And like you say, they're not there every day providing hands-on service, but they're in the background doing those things to allow those that are providing the hands-on service to get that service done. Council, any other comments? If not, then we'll move on to the next item on the agenda. We're moving on to planning and development, and we've been provided a copy of the draft official community plan. Mr. Armstrong, you going to speak to this, please?
Thank you, Mayor Ozust. We had a pretty good, I'd say 50-minute discussion at the last council meeting, but it was a packed agenda like so many of them seem to be lately. So we thought, oh, there's a special open meeting. Nobody wants to be at baseball or anything tonight, so we would put the OCP back on the agenda. We have John here, and we thought we would structure the presentation to preface this a bit, and maybe guide through the document in three main steps, kind of go over the community-wide policies and any comments, questions on those, then the land use designations, and then the development permit areas, just to structure the conversation so we're not jumping all over the document. Yeah, I'll turn the floor over to John, who's attending virtually.
Welcome, John.
Thank you, everyone. Nice to be back virtually. As Armstrong just laid out, we don't have too much of an update since we last met. We can give you a quick little update on some of the engagement that's happened over the past couple of days, and then thought that we could spend some more time to talk about the three main areas that Director of Development Services outlined. So the community-wide policies, which are the non-regulatory pieces. In the last meeting, there was the vision, comparison to the council strategic plan vision, the land use designations, development permit areas, and engagement. So we could go through the presentation, beginning with the vision. I know there are comments about which is potentially including the council strategic plan vision. So this slide just shows the two visions together. The bolded is in the current draft OCP. Non-bolded is the current council strategic plan. You can see they're pretty similar, with the exception, of course, because it was a council strategic plan speaking towards sustainable infrastructure, which was a focus of the strategic plan. But you can really see how the current draft was also, informed and took some language from the council strategic plan vision as well.
So to that end, with those comments at the last meeting, council, is there any desire to have further the conversation around the vision statements? And as John stated, there was the integration of the council strategic plan vision statement is into the OCP vision statement. Does council feel that there's anything missing? Any gaps? I'm not hearing anything, so I think we'll move on to the next slide.
Thank you. So there was a bit of a discussion around the community-wide policies, and particularly around including some names of some of the community organizations. Just a reminder that in the community-wide policy section, it's not a regulatory section. These are really aspirational policies. There's some advocacy policies, which these are typical roles that an OCP will play as well. Identifying those areas of partnership, collaboration, advocacy, and the community-wide policies also align with the guiding principles, which also, there's a lot of overlap from an alignment with the 2008 OCP principles. So there was a point to some councillors had asked questions about, removing community group names, which we're fine to do. We did note there's some community groups named in the council strategic plan, and I think it's just worth pointing out that they're really the areas where they are mentioned are where there are three plans where the town, it was either jointly developed or the town is a partner on it. So the Golden Area Affordable Housing Strategy from 2021, the Golden and CSRD Area A age-friendly community plan and the Golden Economic Development Strategy. And so the names that are included there of some of the organizations are the organizations who were, partners with the town of Golden on those projects. And so looking at them as also being implementation partners in these plans. But again, happy to remove the names.
Council, thoughts, comments, Councillor Cooper?
My concern is with we're in partnership with certain groups, yes. But this plan is for 5 years, potentially we have to update. But how long are our community partners planned for those contracts? Because if these contracts are up for renewal before the time, it just gives the impression that no one else can bid on them, or other things like they're going to be renewed automatically because it's in the strategic plan. So that was the concern that I was hearing. Like, so do we have dates when some contracts are renewable, or how does that look when we have a dated document?
So is it the question kind of by virtue of having entities named within the OCP that we are actually committing to them for longer than we actually have contracts for?
Yeah, because if their contract runs up in 2 years and this plan is for 5 years, and then we heard like, oh, well, we're just going to renew because, or the OCP says you're going to work with this group, doesn't necessarily, maybe there's another group that comes into play from now till then kind of thing.
Mr. Denegar, any thoughts, comments?
Yeah, I mean,
operationally?
The groups that are named that I think we're all talking about, like Tourism Golden, Chamber of Commerce, Golden CED, those are presently on a year-by-year basis, but there's a stability to those organizations, and that's what the consultants have recognized, is that these are long-standing relationships and stable organizations. It's also I would question the term contract. Like Tourism Golden's our destination marketing organization, but that's very much supported by the province. Golden CEDs funded through EOF, which yes, council could say yes or no to that on an annual basis, but I also have direction from council to try to find a longer term agreement with them. Funding will probably always be annually. But again, they could operate independently of support from council, and I would expect them to continue on indefinitely. Same with the chambers. There's no actual contract between them and us. They're a community partner, and that they have a mandate under separate legislation to support the business community. So the degree to which we support each other or work together, that's a relationship that can wax and wane over time. But I think what's the OCP is recognizing it, that these are the stable foundational organizations in our community that we already have relationships with and already can have plans to continue working with them. If something does change in the OCP or would have to change in this OCP, because I don't know, one of these organizations just decides to pack up and leave town, we could amend the OCP if council at the time wanted that. But also, as the consultant said, this is like guidance with examples. It's not intended to be limiting to us in any way. And I can see there could be some tweaking if the wording has been suggested by the consultants and other staff, that we could say, partnerships with organizations such as, to be clear that we're not excluding others from it. And I heard that from some of the public engagements, the last one being the online engagement, where there's some members of the public who are like, it may create that impression that others can't be involved in these things. So I think that's the real risk, not that it binds us in any way. Council can do what it wishes to with the OCP in years future. But I think for the sake of the community organizations that may be trying to grow over the next 5 years and support us, we could just tweak the wording to be more inclusive of that.
Thank you for that.
And I think that's because when it says work with and it names a specific organization, the language is very set. So I like work with a community partner such as, or may include. And I think it would be great even to have a page that just had all kind of operating nonprofits in our area, or some designations like currently having I know I keep saying contracts because that's the word that comes to my brain, like agreements with, and like you can list the people that we have agreements with or something like that, just as a appendix or something to show the information, I think is great. I think that's great. It's just the wording of working with, I think just very broad, because I think that might come back and people are like, well, it says right here, you're going to work with this group. So that was the concern. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Wheel, relative to this subject matter or something different, please.
Thank you. When I think about the OCP and listing groups specifically, the OCP is for 20 years. The strategic plan is for our term, even though it kind of goes into the next term. That doesn't mean the next council will be working with these partners. And I think that it's well, for example purposes, if you look at Golden Community Economic Development, they haven't been around for a long time. They've gone from a co-op, they've kind of reimagined themselves. So I think I would rather not see anything named in a document that's for 20 years, even though it's going to be looked at in 5 years. I don't think we should be naming any partners. I think the strategic priorities of council is a different thing, because the council of the day will make those decisions and they can name their partners in their plan. But for this, I think it should be a little bit more not so, it shouldn't be named. That's my opinion.
Thank you. So my takeaway is from staff is that operationally, it's not a problem to actually name the entities. I'm hearing that the inclusion of language such as gets to the point where you're not actually committed to, but you're referencing a type of an entity that is present right now, but it is open to others. So it's a matter of what's the desire of council. I'm happy with the change in language to such as to soften that, so it's not a strong, or could not be perceived or interpreted as being a strong allegiance to or alliance with or commitment to an entity. Any other councilors got thoughts on this? Councilor Routley?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm certainly open to the such as, you know, any organization that you know, their mission is serving the purpose, then obviously open. Although, of course, we wouldn't want to open the door to duplication of efforts and people stepping, or organizations stepping on each other's toes, because then we're a little less effective. But nonetheless, recognizing that you know, sometimes things change, and to make sure that the language around policy is nimble is a fair point. So certainly open to the broadening, the such asing, to make sure that that's captured.
Thank you for that. Councilor Hambrook?
Yeah, thanks, Your Worship. Yeah, I agree with your comments with adding this such as. I mean, it's a picture and point in time when this document is put together. So to state that these were community groups that were involved in the making of this OCP and setting the direction for the community, I think is important, and to have it as such as, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Thank you for that. Councilor Emmanuel?
I would join the such as group.
Okay. Any comments? Councilor Dale?
Like Councilor Manuel said, yeah, I'm fine with the such as.
Okay, thank you for that. Councilor Routley?
Thank you, Mayor. I was just kind of trying to pull it up a level, and just kind of for clarity, because I don't think it really sets it out with anywhere within the kind of preamble within the draft. Ensuring that there's clarity that the community-wide policies are intent statements, and not necessarily you know, the legislative or those like broader guardrails or the framing within which council is having its discussions or making decisions when we're faced with kind of on the ground applications, I think would be helpful, as was mentioned by yourself, John, because and I guess to kind of going a bit further to that is that, like, I guess clarity that it's kind of nitpicking around around the use of the word policies, but a lot of those items kind of feel more like they're work plan items, and they're actions that can be undertaken and not necessarily like broader amorphous framing for discussion. And so I found myself kind of having to draw out another column, I guess, within each of the policies to just quickly be like, okay, is it a framing for discussion, or is it an action item that we can pull out and be like, okay, this is serving the policy, or this is how on the ground we might be able to move forward some of these broader objectives that are identified within the community-wide policies. But it's just one piece that really came out to me.
Thank you for that. Kind of struck a trigger with me when you said you repeated that the policies are intent statements, because as I went through the whole document, in I would say the majority of situations, there is that intent statement. We will promote, we will work with, we will encourage, advocate, but some of them are specifically action items. And so that was interesting mixing them. And I've actually gone through and I've got a number of notes that I'll probably pass on to John or Phil down the road relative to that aspect of it. But I think that's a very solid statement in that these are the intentions. It's not, I'll use your language, the guardrails or the box within you have to work. Provide some parameters. What do you think of that, Councilor Cooper?
I agree. I just know over the last few years when we hear public coming to council with things to say, because it's in the OCP, as in the OCP, it's stated. And it will come back. Someone will say, it's stated here, you will work with. So that's directive language. And so that's what I have a bit of a problem with, because someone will sit here and say, it says right here, you will work with. And it doesn't matter what we say at that. Like, it's like, yep, it does say that we're going to interpret it to this. And I just think for a guiding document, having those principles kind of laid out very clearly in the beginning is only going to help us in the long run and supposed to hinder us. And I find very directive language hindering councils from what the public's going to come back and say, even though we can say, yeah, we agree it says that, but we're going to interpret this. And then I feel that hurts our transparency and our image with the public, because they're coming stating direct language that it says, and then we're going to say, we hear you, but we're going to do this. So that's the issue. I'd like to have it quite generic so we have options. And then when the public says, oh, it says you will work with a community partner to promote tourism, we're like, yeah, we will. We don't have to label which community partner that is. It's anyone who comes up, because we also, nonprofit organizations that have their own boards, their own strategic priorities change, and we have no control over their strategic priorities and what they're changing too. So if their priorities change in a year or two because their boards had major turnover of things, they could be coming back with completely different things than they are at right now. Even though we have great standing relationships with them, it's not because of the relationships we have with them. I think the relationships are great. And yeah, in a great world, everything will continue on status quo, but I just think we need to protect ourselves in case that there is changes. So
I'm not sure how to interpret the last comments. And so my question, I'm gonna be so bold as to ask a question, can you still live with the such as language so that it's more?
I can live with the such as, but I just don't like that, like when it says we will, like I find it very directive. We will work with. Just that's very directive to me. And that doesn't leave, like I would prefer just explores options working with, something like that, just so it's that very directive language I find is work with. Sorry, the language repeatedly is work with.
And actually, I'll go before Mr. Armstrong, and I actually like the will work with, by virtue of the fact that some of these things, maybe even to the point of many of these things, sometimes aren't within the bailiwick. So we have to work with other entities. such as this entity or
Or
that
just
entity.
work with community partners. It doesn't have to say such as anyone. We'll strive to work with community partnerships. We'll maintain community partnerships. We'll develop community partnerships, that type of language as opposed to very specific, because we do want to work with partners. Absolutely.
Thank you. Mr. Armstrong, sorry for cutting in on you.
Yeah, I just thought I would note, like, the first policy in the OCP it doesn't say will, but it says work with community partners, including Golden Community Economic Development, to implement the Golden Area Affordable Housing Strategy. You know, and if there's other potential folks that would look at advancing that in the community, there's other nonprofit housing providers. GCRS operates Molnar Gardens, or Mountain View, and then there's Canadian Mental Housing Association, or CMHA, that operates Molnar Gardens. There's Abbeyfield, which is a smaller one, tied to the Anglican Church. So there are other people leading this mantle, but that wording, work with community partners, including, it can be softened and carried through to make sure that there are no absolutes within the document. And that appendix idea is good too, to list other agencies within those sectors.
Thank you for that. Councilor Guil?
Well, I was hoping that we could have a document that we wouldn't have to like keep changing, you know, like this is our opportunity to better ourselves in the last one. And I just think it would be better to not list anybody where we don't know if they're going to be here.
Thank you. Any other comments from council? Councilor Manuel?
I think here we go to such as, but I mean, if you're talking about a group that, you know, a group that supports local tourism, such as Tourism Golden, I think that works, because if Tourism Golden drops the ball or changes, you know, in a way we can't anticipate and don't like, okay, we'll get someone else who does it in the way it used to be. I mean, I think we've still got, how to say, flexibility within this. I don't think we're bound.
Thank you.
I would just argue back, like, we can say work with community partners to support tourism. We don't have to say any organization. And that is even such as, we can just remove it. Work with community partners to promote tourism. It doesn't matter which community partner. And if we have appendix with all of the nonprofits afterwards, because it's, to me, it's still the same. You're still including only one. And as Phil just mentioned, there's 5 or 4 that are working with housing that aren't mentioned at all in here. So they're working with community housing in other areas and never mentioned in here. So work with community partners for housing, whatever it is. Just take out the complete name of any nonprofit.
Thank you for that. Any other comments? And I'm going to stick with the such as language. Especially using the example of affordable housing. When we say we're going to work with community partners, that's kind of a broad statement, and people look at that and go, yeah, sure, when they come along. But this way, we're actually identifying a group that has taken on those responsibilities, recognizing that we are not about providing affordable housing, but we have entities within our community, and maybe we can broaden the language to include a couple others on the example of affordable housing. So it lets people know that there's work happening in that area. It's not us standing back saying, yeah, it's important to us, but we'll just work with whoever comes up. We're saying, yes, it's important to us, and we will continue to work with that entity that has identified this and has taken on this responsibility. So I think there's much more power in that than just that broad statement. We will work with partners.
Well, I'd say you have to list all 5 of them then.
I would be happy with that.
Then or more to come, like, or new profits to come, because it just becomes overwhelming. And because there was, GCRS does Molnar, or does not Abbeyfield, Mountain View, and Interior Health does the other one. So they are all working within the same fields.
Thank you. Councilor Dale?
Is pretty much 50-50 for me. When you use such as, it's just an example, such as this entity. You could use anybody's. It just clears it up to the public what kind of groups we're talking about for this particular project. But then again, as Christy said, if you just take that out completely, that doesn't bind us to anybody, and we can just use whoever at any time, and we're not expected to go down a certain channel. But like either at the end of the day, either it's both are good. But I do like including more people to give a broader example range. That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Armstrong?
Yeah, and I guess I was just kind of broadly describing housing operators for the most part, other than Abbeyfield. The others are operators on behalf of Interior Health or on behalf of BC Housing. And I think maybe it's important to send that signal of who will be most likely to almost act like a housing authority for the community, and state that. And by watering it down, it perhaps confuses the statement. And I just picked one policy here, but mostly I did it in order to illustrate that it doesn't read absolute to me. It has the wording of including, and it also guides in the current direction of who has a project under construction, who operates and owns another, the Purcell View Apartments property that has redevelopment potential, and help the affordable housing strategy with the community a few years back. So like all that said, I just wanted to clarify those statements, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that. Councilor Routley?
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate the discussion, but I also don't want to get stuck wordsmithing. Are there, like, I guess a question to yourself, John, is there other kind of higher level questions that you're seeking any, direction or trying to get a temperature check from council on, to help guide that section? Again, I go back to my concern around kind of labeling potential, action items as policies. Anything structurally there that you think could be helpful for yourself?
John?
Thank you. Sorry, the audio cut out there for a second, so I didn't hear the last part of that question. But as far as implementation and action items, OCPs, which, by the way, the local government, they're not a 20-year document. The Local Government Act, the updated Local Government Act, they're Golden and every other municipality are required to review and update at least every 5 years. So can remove the 20 years from that. But as with the implementation and action items, actual action items for the town of Golden they're identified. It's another requirement in the Local Government Act. So there's an implementation section in 7.2 that has pulled out a number of, medium or short and medium term projects over the next 1 to 5 years for the town to consider undertaking. And that table, includes the lead, which is the town of Golden, and I believe in some instances names other potential supporting organizations. And there are a few more. I mean, I keep hearing the same organizations come up, but I mean, there are some other, Local Food Matters appears and talking about a policy around the farmers markets, Golden Family Center, and the Golden Community Resource Society appear. So there's a couple of others in there. But to that question, yes, there is an implementation section in 7.2 that outlines the core action items for the town to consider.
Thank you for that. Follow up?
I guess this follow up just to supplement the audio shortage. it was just if there were any any particular areas for temperature checks or any opportunity, like any specific high level sections that you were hoping to get council's temperature on, or any other feedback, just we could wordsmith for the rest of the day, the rest of the week, I think, but just trying to make sure that we're I'm sure that you've gathered all the great feedback up to this point, but just making sure that we're able to move through the document and gather any of that higher level direction.
Thank you, Councillor. There in the other sections is there's no specific policies in this community-wide policy section, which again is the non-regulatory piece. But in the next sections, we did want to see if council had any. You've had a couple more days to spend with it. Any additional questions around the land use designations or development permit areas?
Thank you.
Sorry.
So staff and John, you've heard from council, there's kind of a split there, and we got one council who's split 50-50. So good luck on moving forward the document. Like I say, we can beat this one for a while. So maybe we'll carry on with your presentation to, I think it's OCP designations. Yeah. Can you speak?
And just to back it, to back it out a level, if one of the big conversations is about, whether or not to, name or not name community organizations, and then hopefully it, as a bigger policy document, you're in an okay place. But with the designations in the presentation, and there should have been a map that appeared with this. I don't know if it is stuck on an animation or no, doesn't appear. But we had reduced the number of designations, and in the 2008 plan, there was a revitalization designation and comprehensive designation, but since 2008, there was a clear town direction and new developments that indicated, that this designation is best to be folded into the mixed-use commercial, residential, or downtown designation. So that was one of the key changes. And just we were looking for any comment or feedback on it. I mean, we pulled out agricultural land reserve only because it was missed in the previous OCP, and we had pulled out institutional uses from parks, rec, and open space, and those are the kind of baby blue parcels that you can see on the map that has been pulled up. Thank you to whoever pulled that up.
Council, any comments with regards to those designations? I will say I struggle with the ALR, and I'm just trying to find it in the document here as I went through. It was one of the things that jumped out at me. When I recognize there's probably a requirement to address agricultural lands within the municipality because we actually have 2 parcels. But I look at those parcels and locations of them, and I think, what's the value? Is there ever going to be, quotation marks, agricultural use in that the one parcel is surrounded by industrial? I'm not sure the actual physical size of it, but what is the likelihood of that ever becoming agricultural lands? And the other parcel, which is surrounded by parks, recreation, and open spaces, I mean, that could in fact fit within that same category and not actually have that category of agricultural lands, but that would be a process that would be going through. The parcel in the top left-hand corner, is that crown land, public land, or is that privately owned land? Mr. Armstrong, are you able to speak to that?
That was the former Little Mittens wildlife rehabilitation area, so it is privately owned. And we processed a non-farm use application in the ALR on that parcel. And the zoning was correct. So that kind of raised a flag for staff. This is agricultural to double check that it was in the ALR at the time. But having it mapped correctly, despite the island within the mill, I think is appropriate. And ultimately the OCP needs to be referred to the Agricultural Land Commission. So this, we might not like it, but bar applying for a block exclusion of that land from the Agricultural Land Reserve, that's probably one of the points where it just has to be that way. Now, the policies, sorry, Mayor, the policies within the OCP, those are potentially ones in that designation that we could look at, but the mapping, I think, is pretty fixed.
Think of that. So if in fact this is referred to the ALC, so in fact, if they have any comments, they would be sending them back to us. Is that fair? Thank you for that. Any other comments with regards to the designations? I will say I'm super happy to see the changes in the commercial, I don't know what color that is. Pink salmon. Okay, it's the salmon along the Trans-Canada Highway, recognizing the mobile home park up by the old KOA. Yeah, right up there. And across the street, the other mobile home park there. I certainly appreciate those both being designated as residential now. I think there's great value to that. That's kind of one high level comment that I would have. Any other comments with regards to council? We'll take silence as happy with. And the next slides, John. Oh, actually, excuse me, John. Councillor Hamburg has his hand up.
I just had a question regarding the institutional uses, the two small pieces that are on 13th Street. There's a little triangle. Is that the museum? That is right there. And what's the one down on 13th Street?
It's the museum, and then the other one is the Sikh temple.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for that clarification.
And while we're talking about that, we didn't designate all the churches as institutional, as they're sprinkled throughout the residential areas, which is a common practice. A lot of low density zoning actually allows institutional uses, but we grabbed some of the bigger parcels for sure.
So, Mr. Armstrong, just as a point of clarification, the parcel on 13th Street is not the Sikh temple. So we may want to identify what that parcel
Yeah, no,
is.
that's the Sikh temple. Yeah, I'm quite confident.
14th, no,
But the
13th.
Sikh temple's on Fifth Avenue.
Yeah, 13th and 6th.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, my apologies.
Yeah.
No worries.
There's two of us that have puzzled looks on our face around the table. Okay, thanks for the question, Councillor Hamburg. Anything further?
No, that's fine. Thanks.
Okay, with that, we'll carry on with the slide deck to DPAs. John?
Thank you. Again, there is meant to have been a map here, but of the updated DPAs, and these are the form and character DPAs that correspond to some of the designations that we were just looking at. So mixed use commercial residential, the corridor, the commercial corridor along the Trans-Canada Highway, and working town industrial, which pulls together some commercial and and some industrial parcels together. And in addition to these, there is a new wildfire DPA, and some draft mapping was just completed for that today, which needs to be reviewed and ground truthed with the fire department, and also I think the planning department is wanting to take a closer look at it. And there's also riparian designation. And I know there's a comment, we had this engagement is going to be our next topic. There was a discussion during the online workshop that we had about some of the fire smart regulations, and one of them being about wood trim on windows. And that is a standard regulation, BC Fire Smart regulation, which is where the information for new construction and development came from. And I know the fire department were glad to see that information and other information in there. But just wanted to point out where that came from, and that was not our own creation, that it's standard BC Fire Smart wildfire DPA construction standards.
Thank you for that. And it's interesting you brought up the wood trim around the windows, because that one jumped out at me. So is it wood trim if it's clad with aluminum?
I cannot answer that question. But I reckon there's a couple of people at the fire department who could dig into that for you.
I think there's value in some clarification on that, because you can actually have the wood trim as long as you clad it with a fire resistant material. I think it's just like the plywood on your wall. It has a fire resistant siding. So yeah, so there may be need to include in there that something about being cladded or not. If it's uncladded, it's not allowed. If it's cladded, it's allowed. Page 62.5, it's locate new buildings or structures and associated accessory buildings and structures far away from any wildfire risk areas as is reasonably possible on the parcel. Want to challenge that concept a little bit, in that the whole town is a wildfire risk area when we have an event, because generally it's not the fire flowing through the forest that causes the built infrastructure to burn. It's the burning embers that fly great distances and land next to the buildings. So I think that bullet, whatever number it is, yeah, under the guidelines, bullet 5, I think that may be quite limiting, when in fact the key point is just having non-combustible materials on your built infrastructure. Any thoughts, comments on that? I'm looking to staff. And then I'll get it.
If I may, I think the one thing to keep in mind with the fire smart, with the wildfire DPA, is that it's only applies to, it does not apply to the whole town. It is only applying to the interface areas, kind of up on the benches, and which have a either a medium or high fire rating. And again, that standard, I believe it comes straight out of BC Fire Smart guidelines.
I think that for that, it doesn't settle solidly with me, but yes, by virtue it's within the proximity, it may have a higher risk or higher intensity of potential for burning embers. But let me tell you, the burning embers fly at far distances and burn down built infrastructure on an ongoing basis. So it's a concern for me personally, but I'll move on. Councilor Mann, you had a comment?
Just that equally of risk, I think, and perhaps more changing is the vegetation as we know, and if you have dry cedars on your place, that's a far greater risk, I believe, than wood around your windows. So it's not a simple thing, and I'm not sure how we treat it, but we do need, consider that in the future.
And so then to that point, John, can you say if we've addressed vegetation around built infrastructure?
Yeah, it does. So the BC guidelines, there are 3 zones around buildings, priority 1, 2, and 3. And there are guidelines around vegetation types, around priority 1 zone, which is 10 meters, or from the building going out 10 meters. And zone 2 is extends out further from that 10 meters to 30 meters, and zone 3 at 30 meters and beyond. But there are some guidelines around vegetation within that, within a couple of the zones. And those are also discussed and are a part of some of the, I know that there's a Fire Smart program for that the fire department is going to be or has looking at existing properties and landscape maintenance, and so I know that vegetation figures into that as well.
Thank you for that. And my takeaway is we just extracted this from the Fire Smart principles and integrated it into our OCP into this permit area. Is that a correct understanding?
Well, a lot of the guidelines come from provincial Fire Smart guidelines. There was some earlier work that was done for the town by a law firm pulling out who works in municipal planning. So that was referred to, and then also looking at other nearby communities and who have brought forward similar things, because I think we'd mentioned this before. Wildfire interface DPAs are now very common and no longer something that just live in some of the say communities in the Okanagan and other particularly fire prone locations.
Thank you for that. Any other comments, council? Councilor Routley?
Thank you, Mayor. With regard to slope steepness, recognizing that only in one of the community-wide policies that we speak to kind of discouraging in steeper terrain. I'm just wanting to seek some clarity there, because there's mixed units where the community-wide policy identifies sort of discouraging the intent of discouraging development in areas on slopes greater than 30 degrees. But then our the maps itself for steep slope identification is using slope steepness percentage. A 30 degree would be like a 57% slope. Can we speak to kind of just clarity on, again, recognizing that it is an intent statement within the community-wide policies, and we have a map identifying within the development permit areas steep slopes, how those two intersect at all, and just seeking some clarity on whether we're just which units we're dealing with in these. Are they percentages or degrees?
Thank you, Councillor. That's a good deep dive question. Someone has done their reading. There is no steep slope DPA. There is a steep slope map that was included, and I would have to look at to flag and look at those where you had noted the measurements and take a look at those. I can't speak to that off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I just in kind of doing a comparison to say Kimberly comes to mind, where they have to, obviously are dealing with a lot more of those steep slope considerations with development, with all of the hills in their community. It was just something that came to mind, where they're restricting development over a 20% slope, which is like 16 degrees or something like that. So just just something that I'm mindful of generally for natural hazards. Obviously, the fire is a great piece of that. We look at the flood a bit with the maps for riparian areas, but the slope stability piece obviously is I think something to remain mindful of when we're looking at the communities and the neighborhoods on the North and South Ridge.
So is there any rationale for not having a steep slope DPA? Is that a fair question to either Phil or John?
I think it was not included because they're not, if you look at there's not that much new development area where there are steep slope considerations, and the steepest slopes are for the most part on areas that wouldn't be developed along the Kicking Horse River, for example, would be one area. So that was the thinking there.
And I just think to the lands within the municipal boundary that are up Peterborough Evans Road. It would probably be relevant for those lands, because I mean, there is getting to be less and less flat developable lands. And when that happens, people start going upslope. And I think there'd be value in having that identified and what is and is not allowed, or what is or is not safe from a perspective. Is that something we would look at in the future, or we would just kind of not do it at all, Mr. Armstrong?
The land up Bull Evans, beyond the sevens is publicly held. So I don't think the worries there. I think the community-wide policies, and thank you for pointing the degrees out, are mostly around when looking at potentially a rezoning or development in the area, that there's policy statements to look at maintaining a treed slope versus, an escarpment that's unvegetated. And like we see when we drive up the Trans-Canada Hill, there's various efforts have been made in different areas to reclaim those particular hills. So it's about maintaining nice treed slopes visible from the lower parts of the community was the main goal there. And I just wanted to pop back for a sec. I think to the fire interface items and the work that we've done on the mapping during the engagement period here. We took some 2005 data that's actually in the current OCP. There's a hazards map, but there was never a wildfire development permit area. The mapping was there. Oh, this is an interface area. It's high hazard or medium hazard. So we took that information and we combined it with the most recent community wildfire protection plan that the fire department got grant funded recently, but that only covered public land. So there was a bit of merging of that information along with recent development that has occurred in the area. And that's where we ended up. But there's a bit of nuance that we want to meet with the fire department and discuss, because basically what the wildfire DPA triggers is a professional report to be submitted with any development within those areas. So is that anywhere where there's a high hazard, anywhere where there's a medium hazard? There's a bit more internal work to do on that, I think, but generally it's affecting the benches and larger scale developments potentially, as you see from the development permit area. Even some like an accessory garage could trigger a larger addition to a home. So that's where we're at. But there's no question, Mayor, that having the whole community fire smart would be would be great, because as we saw in the Kelowna fire a few years ago, the embers flew right over the lake and started a fire on the other side. So, but this is geared to new development in those larger development areas, just for additional context.
Thank you for that. Council, any other comments? Councilor Guil?
So I just want to get clear, this, though it is revisited every 5 years, we are making a plan for 20 years though, correct, for the housing? I think maybe it was misunderstood with the contractor. So that's why when I speak of making a plan that we don't have to do a lot of changes to, would be in our best interest. Especially since it's going to be revisited every 5 years.
Thank you for that. Any other comments, council? Just seeking some information, and I'm wondering if on page 63, bullet number 25, the development building face should be located a minimum of 10 meters away from the adjacent forest interface. So is there any, if that building face is non-combustible materials, does that, I'm just thinking about that limiting the developable lands upon a lot. So is there any potential for a developer to come in and say, well, I want to be closer than 10 meters from an adjacent forest interface, and I will use these type of materials. Can I move closer to the forest interface? Is there flexibility within the plan for that type of an approach? I'm going to look to Mr. Armstrong.
Well, if I may, one of the in the wildfire DPA is to have a pre-development fire hazard assessment, fire risk assessment done. So presumably at that point, opportunities like that with a wildfire building professional can be identified and considered.
So I see that as a solid overarching statement that there be a fire risk assessment done, and including these items in that list is actually counterintuitive to that, could be counterintuitive to that assessment. So we're actually identifying a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm saying intents or some rules around development that may in fact not exist, but we've got them in language here. And somebody's going to say, well, my neighbor built a house closer than 10 meters from the fire interface. And then we will respond saying, well, yes, he used these materials. He had a fire risk assessment done and it was allowed, and then they'll come back and say, well, it says quite clearly that the building face shall be. So how do we address a situation like that? Anybody want to talk to that one? John? Phil's looking to you.
I think a fire assessment is done first. Whether or not I feel like a situation like that might be a bit of a hypothetical in the sense that I think having the assessment done first, and one of the reasons for the assessments is to discern the fire risk and also have make clear how the building needs to be sited that 10 meters back. So presumably again at that point having the qualified professional come in, and I can't speak to the fact that if has already been a house constructed that whether that was done under an existing DPA or was grandfathered in from earlier construction.
Yeah, just John, my point is that some of this detail I don't think is necessary, because overarching, we're saying you need to do a professional fire risk assessment. So don't have the details in the OCP. Just say do the fire risk assessment for new development where it's along a forest interface or in the DPA area. Would that not be adequate?
Well, I think there's additional guidance if someone is looking at these things before bringing in a qualified professional to do the assessment, to understand what some of the site limitations and considerations might be in building in that fire DPA area.
So, I mean, I can live with the language that's here. I'm just anticipating that somewhere down the line, somebody's going to come back and have this conversation with us, and we're going to have to defend it in some way or other. Mr. Armstrong?
Yeah, I'd say it might be worth just having another flip through this guideline for some of the shalls and look at whether they should be shoulds consistent with the provincial guidelines. But generally, when you look at development permit guidelines, they're just that. And on balance, if most of the guidelines have been met, the development permit will be issued. And being that this is a professional reliance model, in a large part, it will be like a riparian development permit area. A QEP, a biologist, goes out and establishes what the setback from high water mark is. Me or my staff don't don't pretend to be our BOs. So the other part I would add to all that is the fire department has as beautiful as Canyon Ridge, for example, is, with all the lovely coniferous trees up there, they have real concerns with fighting a fire in that area if that were ever to occur. And that's where some of these setbacks are, and guidelines are actually set to avoid something like that in the future. And still have trees, but deciduous trees, and other items, and establish those setbacks.
Okay, thank you. I have a number of other small items. I'll just get them to staff and see what the comments are. Anything else around the table, council? Okay, let's move on the slide deck.
This is the last point. It's just a little bit of an engagement update. And by the way, I just want to go back to that slope question, and the degree was a typo, so it should be %. So that is now addressed. But in terms of engagement, we went through some of this when we last met. We had about 80 folks come out to Spirit Square and the Senior Center. There's a couple community conversations, one of which was combined with an age-friendly workshop. So about 12 in total, a few more than that, including the second one. This is an older, actually, this is, it was just recently updated, so I can pull through some of the numbers on my end. So we've had 22 participants at the 2 community conversations, the survey. We've had 75 to date just before the getting onto this meeting. So far, very supportive of directions. There was a local day at Golden Sky Bridge, about 40 folks there. Mr. Armstrong attended the soup day at the senior center. There's a upcoming event as a guest speaker. There's a post office plaza pop-up. And some of these things Director Armstrong can speak to. There's an event coming up at the youth center, and also a Jane's Walk. So that's Jane Jacobs Walks, which happen annually around this time of year. And there's a Jane's Walk that's planned. So in total, there's been about just in this round, around 250 folks who have participated. That's 300 in round one. So, starting to get some numbers and traction, and trying to, continuing to kind of expand the net, because as we all know, engagement is difficult. And as interesting as some of us might find, OCPs and zoning bylaws, not everyone naturally gravitates towards them. So always looking to try and increase numbers. And then I'll pass it over to Mr. Armstrong if you have anything to add on the engagement front here.
Mr. Armstrong?
John kind of tallied up that in this engagement round 2, we probably had up to 300 person-to-person interactions. We've been kind of looking at other events where we can go and maybe not be in folks' face, but at least be there and people can come see us at a kind of a booth type scenario. So that's where we're gonna look at attending, setting up our boards in the Canada Post Plaza this week. And that would be a good downtown business session, and then pop over to the youth center. And then of course the Janes Walks, Ryan Watmo and I started those many years ago, it feels like, in our community, and they've since evolved, but I was going to tag on to a couple and make a pitch for the last few days of the survey by then. There's 4 walks planned this year. There's a downtown one led by Glenn Ewan. There's a CTCI one led by Larry Sparks, and then Laura LaRose is leading one. And there's one more. Oh, I thought they'd be at the tip of my tongue, but what is the other one? Oh, AGOG. Fran is leading one also on kind of imagining the future, and that is mid next week. And those are the other kind of engagement opportunities that we've got planned at this point.
Thank you, Mr. Armstrong. We'll go to Councilor Wheel.
Thank you. Mr. Armstrong, when you're in this engagement with locals, how are you tabulating the information you're getting back from these conversations? And what kind of questions are you asking them? Or is this just to show them what the plan is? Because I'm curious on how the feedback is contributing to the actual plan.
Mr. Armstrong?
Yeah, I'll lead and then I'll let John speak to it. So we have a few boards that speak to a check-in on the vision, and then also on the guiding principles. There's another board on for that, and where people have an opportunity to put stickers, whether they support, don't support, and any other ideas. There's post-its where they can write their ideas on that. And ultimately, we're directing people to complete the survey, which there's 80 respondents to that at this point for the engagement round 2. Survey where there's a series of questions and open-ended opportunities. So that's mostly what we're doing in person is a little check-in, a little conversation, answer any questions, and steer people to either the survey or to write. And we've received a few direct pieces of correspondence to ocp@golden.ca.
Follow up, Councilor.
Or John, anything to add?
John?
Yeah, thank you. I would just direct the council. We produce there's a What We Heard report that was produced in for round 1 that captures all of the feedback. So in the engagement, we tend to be asking, where we're looking for feedback around certain areas and asking very similar questions, but using different platforms. So the posters are asking similar questions to the to community workbooks, which are paper versions that people can take home and bring back in. We've received a couple of those already, and then there's the online survey, which is again similar. And then we're augmenting these by taking notes at the different meetings that we're at and tabulating this all. We do an assessment and report back out onto it, and then the feedback that's taken in those areas is feeding directly into some of the well, certainly in this round, the vision, the guiding principles, and some of those guiding principles and how some of the directions coming out in them are appearing in community-wide policies, for example. So that's how we're kind of the thread of input is running through this document.
Any follow-up, Councilor Grill? No, okay, Councilor Manuel?
Just to say, I think I like the fact you're doing a post office plazas pop-up. I wouldn't mind saying save one outside save on either, because the merit there is you're not, all you're doing is selecting people that use the post office or buy food. So it's a pretty broad span. And that's, I think, something of value here. We want to avoid just getting those people who have got something to say, but there's a lot of people who still have opinions, but we don't necessarily hear them.
Any supplemental suggestions on how to get those people we don't hear from?
Well, when they're going into the post office, when they're going into the save on, make it easy, maybe have some coffee I don't know. I'm sure this John knows how to do that.
That is the challenge.
It is.
Getting people engaged. Okay, well, continue on. Is there a next slide? Next steps.
And this is the last slide, and it picks up and presents the same slide that we saw at the last council meeting. We'll be producing a what we heard report, aiming for the week of May 11th. I think it might come a little bit after that, and then moving, taking that information, feeding into a final draft OCP and moving towards we will be shortly beginning the kind of formal referral process where it's referred out to different folks like Agricultural Land Commission, Ministry of Transportation, Transit, and others, and moving through the hearing or the reading process and then to a public hearing June 16th.
Well, thank you for that. Any comments on that timeline, Council? Any other questions before let John have the rest of his wonderful evening? I see none. Thank you very much, John. Appreciate that.
Thank you all.
See you back in town the first week of May or the second week of May.
You've not seen the last of me. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Have a good night. I hope the meeting doesn't go on too much longer. Good night.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Thanks, John.
Okay, Council, with that, we'll move on to bylaws. 7A, that council gives second and third reading to bylaw number 1513, 2026, Town of Golden 2026, 2030 5-year financial plan. Look for a move of that. Councilor Broadley, seconder, Councilor Manuel. Any comments from staff or council with regards to bylaw? CFO's going, not on your life. And I'll ask the question, all those in favor? Opposed? Seeing here none, although carried unanimously. So we move on to 7B. The council gives second and third reading to bylaw 1514, 2026, Town of Golden tax rates. Mover is Councilor Guillo, second Councilor Cooper. Any comments from either staff or council with regards to this bylaw? These have all been around for a while. Seeing nothing, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. Next item is item 8. Councilor Rutley, give me the hand there. Motion that there be no further business of the special open council meeting, it be adjourned. Looking for a seconder. Councilor Cooper. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. And she's out of here like a wind.
Thanks, guys.